Here. Hmm. StreamYard's catching up to YouTube. Is it live? Is it live or what?
I don't know. I haven't found it yet. Okay, I got it.
Hello. No one's showing up. One waiting. Yay! Nikki! Uh, Nikki, are you my only viewer tonight? Oh, there's Badass. Thanks, Badass. Doing okay, doing okay. I've had a really hectic week. Hey, Suzanne. Yay, thank you for your support. We missed you the other night, Nikki. So let me see. Don't forget to hit thumbs up as you come in, please. Yeah, I missed you. I was going to tease you. I forget about what about.
You ready to go back out? Is that what you want?
My right wing man here. I keep losing him to cats. Wanting this or wanting that. I see it's going down to 57 tonight. And then tomorrow night it's going to be 27. Which I'm going to give everyone a couple more minutes to get here. Whoever pops in, say hi, please. For some reason, StreamYard is acting differently than before. You know, they keep changing things. But this is, I think, an interesting topic tonight. Yes, badass it is. I have two Boston Terriers. One's a chocolate and one's a tuxedo. 56 here in Maryland. It's 66, according to our weather station. It's in the backyard. I've got this thing on my desk. It gives me temperature readings, precipitation, wind speed, rainfall, time. If I knew how to set the clock, it would give me the right time, but it says it's 9:03 a.m. right now. Yes, okay. Gained one, lost one. People bored already leaving. Okay, so let's start talking about our topic. I wanted to talk about pollinators. Of course, those of us who garden, I'm assuming everyone in here grows something to eat. Am I right? So if you grow things that produce a fruit, such as a squash or bean, tomato, eggplant, those are all fruit. Or if you grow blueberries or fruit trees, all those things need pollinating. All those things need pollinating. So I'm going to try to do the contest tonight a little differently. And run the contest as we talk, because I want to test y'all's knowledge. First one to name 3 types of pollinators in the chat will get our first drawing of seed tonight. Name 3 pollinators. Badass, here comes my dogs. Can you hear them? They're ramping up for their evening romp. Bees, wasps, and wind. Bees, butterflies, and birds. Me. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to. Suzanne, I'm looking more for living creatures than the wind. Okay. So, birds. What do you mean by birds? What birds pollinate? Educate me.
Bats.
A bat isn't a bird.
Yeah, but they pollinate also.
Hummingbirds, sunbirds, or honeymbirds, Hawaiian honeycreeper, honey eaters. Okay, so Nikki has it. When we get to the drawing, Nikki, you get first choice. I put hummingbird feeders all out in my garden, but I also put bird feeders and plant things that feed the birds. And I didn't really have pollination in mind. I had more of eating pests. But today we're going to talk about, I have a short link I'll put up in a minute on a video I did on the monarch butterfly. And of course, butterflies are important pollinators. But I want to concentrate tonight on bees, and most specifically, solitary bees. And they're called mason bees, bumblebees, leafcutter bees, orchard bees, blueberry bees. You see little turds in the background, huh? Hey, Dark Lord, hey. People starting to show, that's cool. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Mamsie, Sassy. These guys, you mean? Did you see them? You want to come up? Okay, come on. Who wants to come up? Who wants to come up? Oh, there. Anyway. Anyway, my husband, our beloved Charlie over here, he keeps honeybees, and everyone knows about honeybees, and they come out and they do their thing and they give us honey, right? I'm sorry, I'm reading chat. They crushed your gourd seeds? Okay, refresh my memory, was that snake gourd, or what kind of gourd seeds did you win? Snake gourd. I'll see what I can do about that, okay? I'm sorry. What was I saying? Okay, so Charlie keeps honeybees, and we enjoy the honey, and they do their thing during the warm months. But has anyone here heard of mason bees? Now, I teach a class in mason bees where we actually build a mason bee house. I want to see how many of you have heard of mason bees. Okay. Mason bees, actually honeybees are imported from Europe. They're not native to North America. But the solitary mason bees are. Again, out of curiosity, the book I mentioned last time, what was it? I tell you what, I should have had something to eat because my brain's shutting off. it's on the natural habitat, changing your gardening techniques to support a natural environment. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Anyway, she talks about mason bees in her book. Mostly sand bees here in northern Nevada. I think you'd be surprised. Yes, watch the guy take some wood, stack it up, and then drill a bunch of different size holes in it for different size bees. Now, I've been playing with my screen to try to show you some slides and talk about slides, but just very quickly, I'll give you some facts because I'm going to have to pick the camera up and point it to the screen. Point it to the screen. Shoot. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I'm going to read from my notes, which I know it's cheating, but rather than skip an important detail, I'd rather read to you from my notes. There are 300 species of the genus Osmia, which is what the genus of the mason bees are in. They're also known as orchard bees or blue orchard bees. They're much smaller than a honeybee with kind of metallic colors. Maybe you have seen teeny little bees with metallic colors visiting your teeny little blossoms in the garden. Mason bees actually are our super pollinators. They work very hard. They come out very early in the spring. So before it gets much above 55, they're out there doing their thing. And they emerge very early when things start to thaw out. So some of us are seeing daytime temps of 55 to 70 here in Georgia anyway. So my mason bees have already hatched or emerged and come out and are looking for blueberries, raspberries, fruit trees in bloom. These are the bees we can thank for our fruit and our berries and our very, very early producing fruit plants. They're more effective than the honeybee. It would take 100 honeybees to pollinate a single pear or apple tree, whereas it only takes 3 mason bees to do that same amount of work. Are you amazed yet? I'm amazed, and I know these facts. I'm going to show you some photos. I'm going to try to figure out how to do this, and we'll talk about we'll talk about each photo as I come to it. Okay, and I'm not going to be able to look at the chat. Charlie, are you watching chat? You can tell me if someone asks me something. I try to do this without glare. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry if I make everybody dizzy. Okay, so that is a mason bee. You see what pretty metallic green he is? They're a solitary bee. The difference is between a solitary bee and a hive bee is a hive bee lives with thousands of their sisters. Whereas a solitary bee, once it emerges, it'll breed. And then this is a female. She'll breed, then she'll go find a tube to lay in and begin collecting pollen and nectar and laying eggs and tucking them into bed. And that's how big a mason bee is. They're very tiny, very gentle. They do not sting unless you capture one up in your hands and hold it very, very tight. And then it's a very major, a very minor little prick. You don't really feel it. This is the nesting material that mason bees lay in. There are several types of mason bee, and there's also a bee, solitary bee, called a leaf cutter, and I'll get to that in a minute. But they all, what they have in common is they lay into hollow tubes. So those of us who keep these, and I suggest if you do any kind of gardening that you start keeping mason bees. And the strange thing about it is all of a sudden you'll see other solitary bees showing up at your bee house along with your mason bees that you brought in laying eggs. And they'll fill this tube up from back to front with eggs. And in between each egg is a little bit of pollen, a little bit of nectar for the young when it hatches to eat. This is a baby, brand new female mason bee just emerging from her tube. So the conditions for her to do this is it's been at least 55 degrees for a couple of days, and she's coming out. The males are the first to emerge, and they go out and they have something to eat. Then they hang around and wait for the women to show up and have sex with them, and then the women start laying their eggs. So that's the life of a mason bee. So you're probably sitting there saying, how does she know that's a female? And that's the face of a female. And she cute? Cute. Cute. Love it. Here's a male. I want you to look right around here. What do we see? That's a white mustache. This one does not have a mustache. That one has a mustache. Here's a better picture of a little boy. You see his little white mustache? Isn't that cool? Can you see it? It's not really coming across my screen real well. Not enough light? Too much light? There's another shot of a little boy with his white mustache. This is a photo showing you a leafcutter bee in action. And the reason we know it's a leafcutter, other than, when you get so you can recognize what species you're looking at, is because they will go cut a hole in a leaf and lay their egg, put the pollen, and then tuck a leaf around all of that to encapsulate, package it together. And then they repeat the process until the tubes are full. And this little lady's been working real hard. Look how full it is of little leaf bits. And those will sleep over winter and come out. How do you know you've got leafcutter bees in your garden? This is an example of what a leafcutter bee will do to foliage of a plant. Okay. You see these like hole punch leaves? This is a leaf of turmeric. And even at the top, you can see that there's something that's a little bit smaller that's been taken holes out. So if you see these in your garden, please don't spray poisons, because these are your super pollinators. And you can thank the ladies that there's one circle per egg they've laid, because they're giving you your squash and your cucumbers and anything that's a deep-throated blossom that honeybees may have trouble getting into to pollinate. So the leaf cutters are doing the bulk of the work. So how do you raise leaf cutters? Well, you've got to provide them with something to nest in. And I think Dark Lord was the one that said you saw someone taking a block of wood and drilling holes in it for the bees to go in and lay their eggs. And you can actually buy them pre-drilled, And each one of those layers on that block that's inside the house lifts up so that you can, at the end of the year, some people will take their cocoons, their little eggs, out of the tubes and clean the tubes of any type of parasites or frass that's in there. Then they put the eggs in wash them in a very mild Clorox solution, pat them dry, and put them in a Tupperware box in the refrigerator until the spring. This is a solitary bee house that when I teach my class, everyone in the class actually puts one of these together. And this is an example of the tubes. And here I experimented with bamboo, straws made out of avocado peels, hemp straws. And when I ordered the bees and they came to me in this little box. And they came out and they've already been coming back, filling the tubes with eggs. The different types of mason bees, by the way, the orchard bees, the blueberry bees, and if you look up mason bee breeds or types of mason bee online, there are different species for north, south, east, and west, and they're found just about everywhere in the country. They require different size holes. So you see, you give them a variety of holes. And it slips my memory right now what size the leafcutter bees take. I think the leafcutter bees take a smaller tube, but I may have that reversed. So this is one house we build. That's a video that I have. I'll give you the link to that. But this is a smaller house. Now, a lot of people will look at these bigger houses and say, oh, I want one of those big complex houses because it's pretty in there. They call them bug motels. But the only problem is some of those bugs you're attracting with those large things offering a variety of housing are actually going to attack your mason bees. So I prefer the mason bee houses that will just cater to the masons and the bumblebees. And you'll find that these tubes are expensive. And if you have an average size vegetable garden, you only need this many bees. Okay, and what you would do is the bottom part of it you'd fill with the bees come to you in tubes or in that little box. So you'd fill the bottom part with seeded tubes and then leave the top part open. And as the bottom part totally hatches out, you pull the tube and replace it with an empty one. And by the end of the summer, by frost time, it should be full of next year's bees. Here's one we built during one of my classes, and I always give the option to paint and decorate. So this is one I did to show the possibility of the mason or making it attractive. This particular small bee house faces about 175 raspberry plants. And this is just a parting photo of a little girl emerging. Again, we know it's a girl because she doesn't have a what? Okay. So now I'm going to come back, see if you can tolerate my face shot of me again. And as you see, I'm really high tech. I had to hold the camera to show those. Oh, now you're going to have my chest. I've got to wait till it catches up to me. No one say anything, Charlie? You never alerted me.
What?
Oh. Okay, I'm going to catch up on chat. We've got 7 people. Okay. Hi, fur babies, Dark Lord. Thank you. Yeah, Perry Mason bees. Think they figure stuff up, badass? Okay. All the yummy berries, yes. That's right. Just because they make honey doesn't mean they're as effective. Well, they feed us. The mason bees feed us by giving us better yields in our vegetable garden. She's seen the black bee. Yeah, they work faster. Sorry I'm late, David. Hey, David, have you tried that tea yet? Let's see. Indiana backyard gardener. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Stacy, I'm sorry you don't feel well. There's a lot of people sick at work right now where I work. Don't forget to hit my thumbs up over there, please. Small is better. Yeah. Indiana backyard says, hi, Charlie. Okay, I am caught up. So, first person that can tell me, how can you tell a boy mason bee from a girl? And on top of that, what is the difference between a mason bee and a leaf cutter? We'll get the next drawing for seed. Wish I had a Jeopardy music thing going. Mustache. What's a mustache? Who has a mustache? We just lost someone. Watching these numbers go up and down really makes me nervous. Mustache. Okay, you've got to tell me, how do you tell the difference in the gender and what the difference between, I talked about the difference between the nesting habits. I'll give you a hint of the mason and the leaf cutter bee. Males have a white mustache. Female is a black bee with an orange abdomen. Looking for nesting behavior, Nikki. Okay, I've got everyone stumped. So, remember I was saying how the mason bee will lay an egg and then tuck their pollen and nectar in, then lay another egg and tuck pollen and nectar in all the way up the tube. The leafcutter bee will lay their egg, tuck the pollen and nectar, and then cut a hole in one of your plants. Carry that little circle of leaf back, tuck it in around the egg. So they've got like insulation in between their eggs. So how many mason bees does it take to pollinate an average size fruit tree versus how many honeybees? First one to answer that will get the next chance at a drawing. I'm going to do 5 drawings tonight. 3. Three versus 100. That's right. Bet you were good in school, huh? Yeah, some of the experts say that it only takes 3 mason bees to pollinate the average size fruit tree, whereas it takes 100 honeybees to do the same job. Now, I was talking about how some of these bees are called. Some of the mason bees are called orchard bees or blueberry bees because they come out. Hi, Suburban Homestead. Yes, yes. They come out when the weather is still cold, like around 50, 55 degrees. And the honeybees, Charlie, how warm does it have to be for your honeybees to be out doing us any good?
52 is...
52 is the minimum?
Well, they don't... 52 is when they come out.
52 is when they come up, but they come out to pee and they go back to bed. Meanwhile, the mason bees are out there working. So when the mason bees will pollinate all the deep-throated flowers. You know, if you've ever looked at a blueberry bloom closely, you see it's got kind of a neck to it. They crawl down into spaces that the honeybees can't get to, even if the honeybees do happen to be out while your blueberries are blooming. And by like mid-May, your mason bee has laid all the eggs she's going to lay, and she goes ahead and she dies. And about that time, when it gets into the 70s, is when your leafcutter bees are starting to emerge. So the leafcutters come out and they take over when the mason bees go away. And the leafcutters do the same job 10 times better than the honeybees. And they're with us until frost. So I don't know about you guys, but right now my berry bushes are about to bloom. The pear trees, the cherry trees are all blooming. Our Japanese saucer maple, no, not maple, magnolia is starting to open up next to the house. So I need to go out and look at it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 solitary bee houses on the property. I need to go see if I see anybody emerging right now. So does anyone have any questions so far on mason bees? I have a video. And I'm not even giving you all their names, Dave. I don't know if that's clickable. If it's not, you can cut and paste. But that is my initial mason bee video. And the name of it, if you want to look in my video library, is that. Then I have a video on how to put, it just zeroes in on how to put a mason bee house together. And I can't chew gum and walk, so I'm not talking while I'm cutting and pasting these. I've got one more to share with you on Save the Monarch. Okay, now if y'all remember a couple of lives ago, David won some roasted dandelion root tea, and I sent it to him, and he hasn't tried it yet. David, doesn't have to be cold out. This is the best stuff. If you drink coffee in the morning, substitute it with this tea. Or if you feel like relaxing before going to bed, like now, make it, and it's not going to keep you up because there's no caffeine in it. But you'll think you're drinking coffee. It's the most delicious thing. So come on, somebody's got to have a question about mason bees. Don't drink coffee. Well, good for you. Oh, this isn't coffee. But it tastes like coffee. Do you not like the flavor? So when I teach this class in person on building the mason bee house, the guy I buy my bees from gives my students a discount, and of course, he's not going to give you a discount for just a video. But go over everything you missed. It. He is at masonbeesforsale.com, and he runs sales all the time. He just ended a really good sale he does for Valentine's Day, and last year if you ordered your bees or your bee supplies through him by the end of February, he didn't make you pay shipping. I asked him to be here tonight to talk about the benefits of solitary bees, but he couldn't make it. Um, and which leads Suzanne. Suzanne, if okay, it's the Humane Gardener, the book I talked about last time, and in that book, they talk about letting your landscape overwinter. Anything that grasses or whatever that form a hollow stem, don't cut them down just because they're brown, because your native mason bees and your beneficial insects are nesting in those tubes. And if you cut them down and then throw them in, burn them or throw them away, you're throwing away your natural pollinators. Um, and that's why last week I suggested reading that book, and it will change your whole view of how you look at the winter landscape and what you find beautiful. When I see dried stems, clumps of stems of like flower stems or whatever in my garden, I see a nursery, because I know now that those stems are full of the animals that benefit my garden come spring. But what they were talking about about drilling the hole. When you go to Home Depot or some of the craft stores, and you'll find these little bee houses that are cute. They look like the ones I just showed you, but there's a major flaw with them, in that they're only 4 to 6 inches deep. And mason bees will lay, they need at least 6 inches deep, because they lay so many female eggs and then so many male eggs. And if they go into a stem and they find the stem is short, all they're going to lay is male eggs. And, you can do the math. It won't take too long for you to wipe out your native population of bees, because they don't have anyone to procreate with. So that's why it's best to buy pre-made houses with pre-made bedding, or make your own houses and come up with your own hollow tubes, whether it's straws or the reeds that they sell for this purpose, or a block with the holes drilled in it for the various species of bees. But they have to be at least 6 inches deep. Now, if you remember the house I showed you that I built it 7 or 8 inches deep, so that I can push the tubes to the back of the house and leave like a roof over it, so the rain won't run in and get the tubes wet. So they've got a little bit of a lip on them, which explains why is that. Let's see. I'm going to have to scroll. How deep do you drill for mason bees? Okay, the answer was what? At least 6 inches, right? But if suburban homestead, if you're using just a regular block of wood, there are a couple of problems with that, and that it has parasites in it, and that things and microorganisms that may get down into your eggs and eat your eggs. Also, they're hard to clean, so you really can only use them for one season. Whereas the manufactured blocks fold open so you can clean the tubes, and it's also made of types of wood that the wasps that try to sting the mason bee eggs, to lay larvae in the eggs, can't get their thing through it. The blocks look cool. They really look natural, and you are using the wood, but beware, you will have more of a parasite or predation problem with your mason bees. Go over everything. So, David, you want me to go over everything you missed? What did you miss? No, not treated wood. None of it's treated. That's why it's a good idea to paint. Although there's debate on that, whether the treated wood will hurt the bees, because the carpenter bumblebees that drill the little holes in your deck or your fencing, the treatment doesn't bother them at all. Uh, if you can find a tube the size of a carpenter bee hole and put something up for them, I'm sure they'd use that instead of cutting holes in your fences. Does anybody in here, and I have a feeling Miss Suburban Homestead knows what she's doing. She's prompting me to remember to tell you about things. Name 2 ways a bumblebee pollinates. Name 2 ways a bumblebee pollinates. And I will give you the 4th drawing. Adrian, you winking at me, hon? Let someone else answer. Oh, you think you know? Okay. 2 ways that bumblebees pollinate. No one answers in about 15 seconds. I am going to give you the answer. Do I hear Google burning? Okay. All right. Bumblebees, of course, kind of strum their way through the pollen, and they can move pollen around that way and pollinate. But some plants don't need to be caressed by insect legs. All it takes is releasing the pollen down onto the female flower. And the bumblebees help us in that way by buzzing. Buzz pollination. That's right, buzz pollination. Yeah, it's like peppers and tomatoes. All they have to do is kind of buzz near the plant, and it gets that male pollen thing all going, and they release their spores, and down it goes and gives you fruit. So, Adrian, did you know that the mason bees, the bees we're talking about, do not sting? They can, but you've got to catch them in your hand and hold them, make them really angry to get them to sting. They're not aggressive. They don't go after your pets. They only go 200 feet from where you have their house. So you literally can put your mason bee pollinator, your house, and point it towards your garden that you want them to work. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. You can control where they go. So if neighbors say, oh, we don't want bees coming into our yard, they're not going to unless you have something there to attract them. But as long as you've got your vegetable blooms and everything going, that's where they're going. Okay, Suburban Homestead, tell us about you. Do you keep bees, more than one kind? And what can you add to the conversation? It'd be really cool. Yeah, Adrian, it's like you can train them. One of the pictures, I guess you weren't here for when I tried to share my photos, and I hope y'all could see them. Let me know if you couldn't see those photos, please. Whereas just a house I dedicated for my raspberries. I've got 175 raspberry plants down the hill on trellises, and behind the trellises is a mason bee house. What's kind of concerning to me is the funky weather, because I'm sure with all the days we've had now in the 50s, upper 40s to lower 60s actually, I'm sure that my mason bees have been hatching, but there's nothing really open yet in the form of what they usually pollinate. within their 200-foot range. So I'm wondering whether this change in weather patterns is going to be problematic for our native bees. So I am going to share with you two books that I consider good reading. Our native bees will go into the life cycles and what makes them native, what makes them good, and some research going on on breeding them and switching crops, switching berry farmers and fruit farmers from using the honeybee, which you know is having survival problems. So they're going to try to see if they can switch it over, the dependence on honeybees. This is another more politically written book that this is an easy read. Then what I usually will hand out during my classes is a pamphlet that you can find at masonbeesforsale.com. I'm typing it in to get you the URL. Okay, here it comes. Well, I show the second. Yankee Sister, watch the replay on this. It's not going to be as long, I don't think, because we haven't had people so excited. But do watch it again. You know, this Mason bee revolution for the hardest working bee that can save the world, one backyard at a time. Yeah, good times they can, if you are lucky enough to have habitat, but more and more there's so many housing developments going in and natural habitat being lost that anything that you can do in your yard would benefit the bees. Okay, so don't forget to hit thumbs up. Please share this video. So far, can I get a reaction from you on what have you learned that that was interesting, and what have I said that you don't believe? I'll back up anything you want me to look up. I'll do a quick search and give you a link to read about it. You're a natural hedge of trees. What? That's great, Suburban Homestead. You know, I get so sidetracked. So many shiny things, right? The Mason Bees for Sale on .com link. He's got a pamphlet that gives you background on the bees. It's a quick read, and you can click on it and read it online for more details than what I'm going into here. The good times learned about the fly buzz pollination. Get your buzz on, huh? That was neat. Yeah, it is. I actually just learned that within the last year that about the buzz pollination, because I'm studying all I can on different types of peppers and how to hybridize and what different types of peppers are used for. I want to become an expert on peppers, and came across an article on buzz pollination for the pepper plants. They are fascinating, Nikki. And if Nikki, what grade level do you teach, and do they have a school garden? Because if they have a school garden, maybe a class project, or anybody in here that teaches school, a class project would be during the winter months to actually build the house, and then maybe you could find a sponsor to order from Mason Bees for sale online. No, I don't. I'm not getting a commission to order your bees because they need to be set out in the house before it warms up. You do it like when the temperatures reach a certain level in your area. Um, oh, that's cool. $21 for both books. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I do that too. I get whatever's been used. How many bee homes do you have? Dark Lord Net says, I thought the Mason bees flew further than that, but apparently not. So I got to make more bee homes. Make sure they're at least 6 inches deep, those tubes, okay? Yep. What kind of types of bees nest in the ground? Oh, those what we call yellow bastards in the fall, the yellow jackets. There are some bumblebees, and there are some other types of bees. Home-based childcare business. So the kids are a little bit young to garden, huh? But if you have any kids in school and they're learning how to garden, they have a school garden. You may want to suggest learning about these bees. They don't sting, so it'd be great to have around kids. Of wasps, huh, Adrian? Stepped on a nest of wasps? Yeah, I call them yellow bastards. Hey, Peter. No, Thursday, first and third Thursday every month. Yes, Suzanne, the yellow jackets and the wasps. Yes, they do. Yeah, so another thing I need to tell you if you're going to go ahead and do this, when you put your house up for your bees, make sure it's at least 3 feet off the ground and that it faces south to southeast so that the morning sun will warm it up and wake up your bees. Yeah, I bet, Nikki, that would be a good idea. I can work with you putting some handouts together so they know what they're looking at. Yeah, I bet in Wyoming you have a lot of ground nesters. But you also have the big paper wasp, don't you, with the big, beautiful nests? Today's Thursday. Did I miss something? No, today's Thursday. You're missing a day. You're missing a day, Peter. Peter is actually Gail, and they are very good friends of mine. We kind of lost touch for a few years, and now we're back in touch. And unfortunately, Peter left us. It's been about a year, Gail, and chatting under his name is her way of remembering him. I came out to Suburban Homestead says, yes, we do. Answering my question, do they have the big paper wasp nest? But our nests are not large like they are in warmer areas. They're still beautiful, though. And I came to Wyoming once. We came out west. I think I might have been making a documentary and ended up in Wyoming a little bit. Beautiful state. Beautiful state. Yeah, Gail, I think about Peter a lot. It's very sad, but welcome. We'll cheer you up here. We're talking about bees. So get your buzz on, Gail. Any other? What else have I done? I've forgotten to tell everybody about. These bees emerge toward the end of March to the beginning of May, depending upon temperatures. Leafcutter bees emerge in midsummer, reproduce, and the second generation can emerge in July or August if the temperature permits. This means there is a continual pollination through the summer months. When you order your mason bees, you stick them in your fridge because you need to keep them between 50 degrees, or you need to keep them cold until temperatures reach a consistent 50 degrees. Have to paint for a while. Thank you for stopping by, Suburban Homestead. Okay. That's about all I'll talk about tonight on the mason bees. So I hope you've learned that you can keep bees. You can boost your productivity in your garden with a bee that doesn't sting, doesn't aggressively go after pets or children. Really kind of small. If you watch the second video I posted, I think, if you can scroll back in chat and get those links, maybe I'll post them again. You'll see me putting a box of mason bees in a new house, and they crawl out on my fingers as I'm putting the box in, and they sit there and then they fly off. They're little boys. They have little mustaches, just to show you just how gentle they are. Okay, Adrian's going to be right back. How many winners have I gotten so far? I said I would do, what, 5? 1, 2, 3. So, Nikki, what kind of question can I do to see if someone else wants to win some seed? Come up with a question, Nikki, for everyone? Maybe? Should I quiz people on what I've said so far? Don't everyone talk at once, y'all. Do I need to release some bees? Everyone's asleep. What kind of bees do Charlie and I keep here on the homestead? Answer that. First one to answer that. Or go ahead first one to answer that. What kind of bees do Charlie and I keep here? First one to tell me will be winner number 4. You got to name both kinds of bees. Well, I've named 3 types of bees we have here. The 3 types of bees. David Mason and honey, and what else? Okay, good times. I'm going to give it to you. It's not woodcutter, but it's leafcutter. Okay? Okay, so I need to change my banner. It's good times. You look new to me. I just changed the banner. Hopefully it's scrolling. Disregard the 5 minutes after drawing to qualify. Just what you'll need to do is send me an email at the address that's scrolling across your screen, and give me your chat name, Good Times Homestead, and then your real name and address, and remind me what you won. Okay. That's 4 winners. The fifth winner will tell me shoot. Charlie, come up with a question. Give your wife a hand here.
Average lifetime of a honeybee in the summer.
Oh, they're gonna have to Google that. He wants someone to answer his question. What is the average lifetime or lifespan of a honeybee in summer? So I wanted to tell you, of course, I'm going to have little videos coming out on what's going on in my greenhouse right now. As I started the edible flower seeds, if you remember my edible flower broadcast when we talked about the stalks and Job's tears and things that you can eat. I started all that seed on Monday, and y'all, it's already up. So I've also got holy basil, 5 kinds of holy basil in, and 3 of them are germinating. The other 2 are, I guess, just slower. Other types of basil and tomatoes are starting to pop. The eggplant are starting to pop. So it's going to be interesting. Tomorrow night's going down in the 20s. But after this weekend, I predict we get one more hard freeze. But I might be able to cover. But after this weekend, we're going to start setting out the second wave of cold crops because these seeds are popping already that I just planted on Monday for the next wave, the early spring wave. Okay. People don't want to Google. Charlie, write down a number from 1 to 50 on the bottom of this sheet of paper. Be right back. All right. Charlie has chosen a number between 1 and 50. If you want a chance at one of the seed drawings in the last seed drawing tonight, Charlie, Nikki says 15 to 38 days. Is that right?
I'm getting 2 voices at once. What?
Nikki says 15 to 38 days.
Well, yeah, it's generally considered 28 as a single number.
Okay, so he says close but no banana. Okay, so if you want a chance at the final drawing, let's guess the number between 1 and 50. Hey, LP, welcome, welcome. Ooh, 26, 29. Keep going. 22, 26, 29. $30, $17. Nikki got it. It was 28. Charlie says the average life of a honeybee in the summertime is 28 days, is why he chose 28. Okay, so Nikki won 2 things. Lord Met won 2 things. Did Good Times leave? She's here. Okay. For those of you Are you sure? Good times. David, you want her seeds? His seeds? Jen and Steve's seeds? What we do is I'll ask you one at a time to give me a letter of the alphabet, and we'll go fish in my my seed chest for a vegetable that begins with that letter. Hey, Jen. Yeah, David wins 2 or 3 things usually each broadcast. Jen. Well, maybe Suzanne would like your seeds. Suzanne, are you still here? Yep, she's still here. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to let choose 2 letters of the alphabet, and then we'll go fish, is Nikki. Nikki, what are your 2 letters, hon? So, Jen, do you want to choose the seed for Suzanne or whoever's giving what to whom? N and P. No K? N P K. All righty. I don't think we have anything in the ends other than nasturtiums, and that'll be on the flower. All right, girlfriend. I have 3 things that begin with P. And that is peas. Oh, that's not a P, that's an R. Peas and peas. So, Suzanne doesn't have nasturtiums. I have 10 packages of various types of seeds. Nikki, pick a number 3, 1 to 10. Suzanne's saying, give me nasturtiums. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, Nikki, this is commonly known as clitoris seed, also known as the blue butterfly pea. And the blossoms are a beautiful periwinkle blue. The pollinators love them. They can be used to color mixed drinks or throw in your rice. It makes changes the color. But the reason they're called a clitoris pea is because the blossom looks like a clit. So I'll be sending you some of this seed. Since we don't have an N box, you want to pick another one? Another letter of the alphabet? How many people in here have never heard of the clitoris pea? F. Okay, on the flowers, under F, I've got 2 cases of flowers. It's kind of nice that you chose something that is going to feed those mason bees. I bet you order now. Okay, numbered between 1 and 22. Grow it with a Peter pepper. You're so funny. LP, actually, in my front garden, the first year we moved here to Georgia, I grew a butterfly plant that's called hairy balls because they look like hairy balls. And next to it, I grew Peter peppers. I can't tell you how many people stop while walking their dogs, kind of go. "22. Figures? Yeah, does it sound like me? Making sure I still have seeds in here. I planted these seeds on Monday. That's 4 days ago, Nikki, and they're up already. This is a stock. Did I already send you some stock? Because this is edible. It's used as a vegetable in Asia. You want me to draw another one, or is that... Oh, you wonder what they were doing while they were naming plants. Okay. You want that. Okay. Good choice. Good choice. Okay. Nami no Mai stock. Okay, we've got Nikki taken care of. Who was giving their seed to, was it Good Times? You're welcome. Who was giving their seed to Good Times? That's, or Good Times, who are you giving your seed to? And were you giving it to Suzanne? Or was it Dark Lord giving it to Suzanne? Oh, okay, so Dark Lord, she wants nasturtium. You want me to just choose some nasturtium? I don't have any in there. I have these 2 types of nasturtium. And I'll send you probably 5 seeds. I thought I had another nasturtium in here. I might not. Okay, here it is. You see the colors? I'll send you about 5 seeds of these. Which one you want? Bless you. Okay, well, what type? You want the tall trailing, the cherry rose jewel, or the mixed colors? The big bag, okay, the mixed colors. So, oh, and I'm shaking seeds all over the place. Don't want to do that, do I? Okay. Okay, so Suzanne, send me an email, please, telling me that Dark Lord have given you nasturtium. Okay, so Dark Lord has told me B for herself. So let's look at B. Oh goodness. We have beans, beets, broccoli, or burdock. Which one do you want me to choose from? Beans, beets, broccoli, or burdock? Dark Lord? You want beans, beets, broccoli, or burdock? Beets. I have Crosby's Egyptian, Golden, and M.I. Gardner Early Wonder. Which one you want? Now, am I sending both your seeds to Suzanne or just the nasturtium? M.I. Gardner. Okay, so Dark Lord, you're getting the beets and Suzanne's getting the nasturtium, or is she getting both of your packets of seeds tonight? Oh, okay, so Suzanne, send me an email. Remind me of your mailing address and what you won, okay? Same thing, Dark Lord. Just remind me. I've got your. I think I wrote your email address down. I mean your snail mail because you win so often. But remind me of what you won, okay? So let's see. That's Nikki, Dark Lord. Is that and Good Times are the only real 3 winners we had tonight? Good Times, could you pick a letter of the alphabet and I'll fish some seed out for you? Is she still here? The last one. The last one what? Or you're the last one? I'm sorry. You're first in my heart. Pick an alphabet. We'll go fishing for seed. Okay, so you want butterfly peas as well. Okay. All right. So my email address is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, lbolivar@bellsouth.net. I need your your chat name, and then your real name and address, and remind me what it is that you won. And I'll send you some seed. Now, those of you getting hard seed, which are the beets and the nasturtiums and the peas, soak these at least 24 hours, no more than 2-3 days, in room temperature water before you plant them, so they get a good plumping before they try to germinate. Annie's Kitchen, good greetings. I almost said good morning. So was this informative tonight? Give me some feedback, because if you like these types of lives, other than just opening chat to chat, I'd like to at least once a month maybe try to get a guest that has an expertise to talk about. And I'm thinking if I can get an extension agent to come on and talk about trying to garden when the seasons are getting confused. We have, someone called it a sprinter, or spring winter, springtime temperatures in the winter is what we're having, where the plants are confused. So what happens if this continues, and how do we adjust our planting schedule? Do you think maybe that would be interesting if I could find someone to talk about that? Is that a good topic? Thank you, Sarah. Sprinter Flinter, yeah. So you all like my lecturing, you don't find me boring and scatterbrained. So please help me grow my channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit a thumbs up, comment on a couple of videos so that YouTube doesn't throw you out. Last week, for a certain length of time, I had 601 subscribers. I was so happy. And then I changed the name of my channel and my picture, my avatar, because people have such a hard time saying Our Georgia Suburban Homestead. I changed it to Our Georgia Homestead. Immediately lost down to 595. And when I came on tonight, I had 597. I was sure would like to get over 600 tonight, and have them stick. You know what I mean? Nope, no scatterbrained. You're so nice. David Gray says, I am thinking about of applying for a USDA grant for increasing food to the needy in my area. Has anyone ever applied for a grant? Thank you, Dark Lord. So I'm going to go in search of an extension agent. And of course, here in Georgia, I'm in 7B8A. And watch for announcements if I can get one to come on air with me. It might be I just put them on the phone and put the phone on speaker. That would work too, I guess. Hey, Tony. You missed our competitions. Well, thank you, Gail. Gail knew me when I was a journalist, so she's read my journalism. Thank you so much, Gail. Wow. You go from 4A to 7B in a single day. Yes, Tony, I'm so glad that you made it this week. So I'll begin to look for a professor, extension agent type. Well, it's just I was Tony's asking what the competition was. Tony, I lectured a little bit on solitary bees, mason bees, and I just quizzed to see who was listening. And then I ran out of things to quiz on, so I decided random number selection. You're having what there, Suzanne? For the last couple of years, here outside of Atlanta, I'm northeast of Atlanta, we have had false springs late January into mid or late February. And the trees started coming out and started budding, and they were in just about full bloom. And then, bam, hard freeze. I mean, hard freeze down into the teens, lower 20s. And we lost most of all our fruit that year, those years. Also, it hurt the pollination with the bees, so we had to harvest the honey later. It killed whatever mason bees had emerged, and I had to reorder my mason bees. Once you get your bees going, as I say, you'll start noticing that your bee population should, without natural disasters, start increasing. And every year I get so I'll order 1 or 2 tubes of each mason bees and leafcutter bees. I haven't looked at what the prices are this year because my bee houses are actually full of babies, so I'm hoping that it'll suffice. Yeah, LP, I listed, I guess I should go ahead and list those URLs. I've got a how to make a mason bee house video. Let me see. Trying to find my files. Let's see. I'll get there. Okay. Here's how to make a house. Well, the same house works for leaf cutters. I have several videos out on this. Can you tell us about your experience with your mason bees, LP, so other people in the room can learn from you too, please? You want to make your own. Make sure you pay attention to the depth and what I say about how it's important for them to be deep. But if you've had the bees, you already know. I'm a little skeptical that it was a mason bee that got you on your neck. Because I let them crawl all over me and I've never been stung. They're not supposed to sting unless you capture them. Or maybe you had a shirt that pressed on it, on your neck. Could that have been a possibility? And have your mason bees return from year to year? So, Nikki, I'm going to have to pick your brain on how to make my broadcast look funner. Nikki does a fun broadcast, y'all. You bought one of the little huts with the bamboo rods in them, hung it on a post near my garden beds, and just left it there. Did you have very many the next year? Because leaf cutters and masons require at least 6 inches of tube to lay female and male eggs. If you just use the commercial ones that are typically 4 inches deep, all that was being reproduced were male bees. So make triple sure that you have at least 6-inch reeds that they're laying in, or all you're getting are male bees. There'll be no one for them to reproduce with. Tree of Heaven. What family of tree is Tree of Heaven? Oh, I've seen those. Why is it called a tree of heaven? Native to China. It's invasive. Yeah, invasive. From the devil. Oh, I had to move around. My butt's getting numb. That's a big butt to go numb. Very evil and invasive. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I think half of you fell asleep. I'm sorry if it wasn't as stimulating. Uh, well, thank God I don't suffer from that list of malady except for the diarrhea and asthma. Okay, just to give you the Home Depot used to have cull wood at the back of the store, wood that was either warped or cracked or whatever, and that's where we would buy our wood for my classes and for the beekeeping kits I put together. So it was like 70% off. I don't know if they do that anymore, but make sure you have at least 1x6s or 1x8s for the frame of your house, okay? And then go to masonbeesforsale.com for your bedding. Sometimes I see the bedding cheaper on Amazon, but do some price comparison on what type of bedding you want. And that way you could save a little bit of money. We haven't gotten any kits together yet this year to sell. I'm always behind. Um, who is it, babe?
Hey, John.
Oh, okay. Charlie has to walk out of the room.
Right.
It's his brother. We just learned his brother is just got out of the hospital. Need to talk. Okay, great. I hope my bottom is better in the past. Let's not talk about that, Gail, and give away all my secrets. Oh, okay. So why don't we say goodnight, and I'll work on finding an extension agent to talk about combating this heat swing. And if I can't find anybody, then I'll probably talk about that next time, the first Thursday in March at 8 p.m. You can catch me here. If you have suggestions for other live topics, no, he's not, Gail. I'll tell you about it in Messenger in a minute. Um, then feel free to shoot me a note, or pop on one of my videos and ask me there. But get the message to me, and I'll see if I don't know what the answers are and don't know much about the topic. I'll find someone who does. Okay. So thank you so much for spending time with me tonight, and for getting a buzz on with me. So until next time, we'll see ya. Well, I sit in the room with Lisa, right? She's talking.